Hey y'all, Scott Emerson. I'm here today to talk about the election and some of the things that are being said and what they mean and all of that. I've got some numbers for you. They're not pretty numbers. They're really not. We have 4 Prop A's on the ballot this year. A couple of school districts have gone above the approval rate, voter approval rate, so they automatically went to election. Anytime any entity goes above the voter approval rate, I think we should vote it down. They then have to go back to the no new revenue net rate and adjust their budget down, okay? That's what I want you to do. I want the citizens of Howard County, both in Big Spring and outside of Big Spring, in the city of Coahoma, in the city of Forsyth, I want you to vote no on all the Prop A's. I want an ESD, but I don't want an ESD that doesn't include the paid fire department we already have. I will get to that. All right. So let's talk numbers. First of all, collective bargaining. The fire department and some other people are saying that this is not a tax increase, and they are absolutely telling you the truth. If we vote in collective bargaining, it's not a tax increase unless they want 4 men on a truck. I'm just saying this as an example. They want 4 men on a truck, which meets minimum standards that we do not have to adhere to. They want 4 men on a truck, just saying they do. The city says, no, we don't have the money for that. Then it goes before a board of arbitrators, and let's say the board of arbitrators says, yeah, you need 4 men on a truck. I know you don't have the money, but find it. Now it's a tax increase, okay? So in other words, why do the fire department want collective bargaining? Because they can't make a deal with the city. So they want to be able to appeal to a higher power, which is a board of arbitrators. I don't know how many, but more than one is what I'm being told. They will then look at it and go, well, that town over there, they got 4 men on the truck. You need 4 men on the truck too. Okay, how do we pay for that? We don't care. It's not our job. Our job is just to tell you to do 4 men on the truck. So when that happens, 2 things can happen. Your tax rate can go up, and it would probably go up above the 3.5% threshold like the 2 school districts did, and it would force an election. And if y'all voted it down and said, nope, we're not giving you more tax money, well, then the only thing the city can do to get the 4 men on a truck is cut services. And that means, what do you cut first? Well, you cut quality of life. You cut the golf course, you cut the swimming, you cut the parks, you cut Moss Creek, you cut the stuff that's not water delivery, sewage, trash, the necessities in life. You know, that's where you would cut. That could very well happen. So they're telling you the truth. Voting for collective bargaining is not a tax increase, but it sure could lead to one. They wouldn't be wanting it if it couldn't. Now, what's the fire department's budget? Before we talk about the fire department's budget, let's talk about what the city gets per year in property tax. Every person that lives in this county, inside the city limits, outside the city limits, pays property tax. You rent, you pay property tax, okay? It's figured in your rent, I promise. If your property tax goes up, your rent goes up. Okay, so we'll start. Last year, and when I say last year, that's before October. Last year, the city's take on property tax was $7.9 million. This year, they proposed, this year is now, because their new budget started in October, $8.4 million. Okay? Now, you've heard people say fire department gets all the property tax. I've been going through these budgets for 10 years. And until they put it in this format this year, did I realize that is an absolutely true statement. The fire department takes 99.5% of the property tax. What are the numbers? Here's the number. The fire department gets $6.789 million a year. The fire marshal gets $215,566. That's $7 million, right? How much are we going to get? we're going to get 8.4. Well, that's not even close, you say. Well, you forgot to add ambulance. Ambulance is $1.2 million a year. That comes to $8.27 million a year out of 8.4. That leaves $128,990. Now, is that all the money the city has? Of course not. They have sales tax. Where's the sales tax go? That's police department and a whole nother video. Then where do they get the money to operate the rest? Because everything you touch, they get a piece of. Your electric bill, your water bill, your gas bill. No, not your water bill. Your electric bill, your gas bill, your cable bill, your phone bill. You pay tax on that, and that money goes to the city. Everything if you got to buy a building permit, that goes to the city. There's 4 pages of income. All of it, you pay for. 100% of the money any taxing entity has was your money before it became theirs. They have no money without you, okay? Now, some people will say minerals. Well, who owns the minerals? The city of Big Spring as a corporation? The county of Howard as a corporation? No. The citizens own that property. And that money works its way into the general fund, okay, for both the county and the city. Been a tight year. We lost $3 billion of mineral value. Not a single taxing entity lowered what they got from last year. We call that number the no new revenue rate, okay? The tax rate at which you get the exact same amount of money as you got last year is called the no new revenue rate. The no new revenue rate for the county, Howard County, this year is 8 cents higher than it was last year because the loss in minerals, okay? When the county didn't cut their budget by 8 cents, that means our tax bill had to go up 8 cents. They stayed at the no new revenue rate, and they were by far the most frugal of every entity in Howard County. What entities are we talking about? We're talking about Howard College. They're going up about 5 cents per 100. City of Big Springs going up about, it looks like 7 cents per 100. Kahoma City is going up. Forsan City is going up. Big Spring ISD is going up, looks like 2.4 cents per 100. Kahoma and Forsan and Sands are still up because we can't figure their rate until the election's over. So that's where we're at. The bad part about this is Kahoma, Sands, y'all have to vote on a countywide ESD and before you get your tax bill. Because they can't give you a tax bill till they know what to tax you, and they can't tax you until they know what the school district's going to get. And the school district, you have to vote on that. So vote no to all 4 Prop A's, and here's why. I have a plan. What is it that the city of Big Spring needs the most? Water and streets. What have we been griping about for 30 years? Water and streets, okay? Potholes, bad water lines, leaks, potholes, all of it ties in together, all right? So right now, the city takes in a bunch of money, but they have to dip into savings over $1 million to be able to give everybody a raise this year because a couple of us got up and complained about their tax rate, and they lowered it. They went from getting over $500,000 to a little over $100,000 more than they got last year. So they're betting on some blue sky, and it's a very tight budget. That's why they're concerned about the firemen getting the getting the collective bargaining. Collective bargaining is not a automatic tax increase, but it sure leads to a tax increase. Okay, let's talk ESD. Do I think that we need a part paid, part volunteer fire department? Yes, I do. Do I think that we need 2 of them in Howard County? No, I don't. I think we need 1 ESD. The city of Big Spring adds 4 or 5 men per shift to their budget, not the city of Big Spring, the ESD budget, and they man the stations out in the county. Then we gather a whole bunch of volunteers up. And I know that Eric Barber and the Howard County volunteers are saying, man, they're just not people wanting to volunteer. Borden County had a structure fire the other day. Borden County had 3 companies show up to their structure fire. 3 companies. That's how they worded it at the Borden County Volunteer Services, their Facebook page. You're telling me Borden County, population of 5,000, has more volunteers than Howard County? Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, we know you're trying to push the ESD. I get that. But here's what I want. I want no duplication of services. That's going to be a 4-step, 2-year process. I want y'all to vote no on collective bargaining. I want you to vote no on this ESD that does not include Big Spring, where we already have a paid fire department. I want you to vote. Then I'm passing around a petition. I have to get almost 1,100 signatures to repeal civil service. I want to do that. And then a couple of years from now, we will be able to vote on an ESD that includes the city of Big Spring and Howard County. Because if we don't, this is what we're going to have. We've got a paid fireman and the fire chief in the city of Big Spring. We're going to have a paid fire chief in the county. We're going to have a paid deputy chiefs in the city of Big Spring. We're going to have paid deputy chiefs in Howard County. Then, if we repeal civil service and try and add the city of Big Spring into the ESD, it's really going to be a cluster because they've already built new stations. They've already bought equipment, and now we're wanting to join them. It's going to be real hard. The easy way to get these two together is to follow my 4-step plan. And yeah, do I have all the numbers and all the figures and everything worked out? Nope. But it's a better plan than I've seen anybody else come up with. I want you to vote no to collective bargaining. I want you to vote no to the ESD. Hell, I want you to vote no to the 2 school districts that went above the voter approval rate. Because any entity, if we let these 2 go above the voter approval rate, then I promise you the other entities are going to follow and go above it. And we're going to have to vote on it all the time. And I know what the school district does. It's for the kids. I know what the fire department does. People are going to die. And firemen, I love you. How do you know that I love you? Because I hope I proved it over the last 30 years. That I've stood beside you, was one of you. Heck, I just got done with 2 days over in Stanton, Texas, helping ConocoPhillips raise over $500,000 to give to fire departments in the Permian Basin, volunteer fire departments. Howard County used to be a part of it till the chief before Eric said, we don't have to call ConocoPhillips back. They give us a check every year. Didn't call them back. And so ConocoPhillips dropped them from the program. That was $100,000 a year. More than that when Tommy Sullivan was running stuff because they had like 100 volunteers and they were selling tickets all year. Anyway, I digress. Got to keep it short. Here we go. Here's what I want to do. The budget right now is $8.2 million for the fire department. The ESD, as it is right now, excluding the city of Big Spring, their maximum take they can get for an emergency service district for fire only, no ambulance, $7.2 million a year. Now, the city of Big Spring, if we could somehow magically make civil service go away and they join the ESD, then that budget would go to $8.6 million, which is already $300,000 more than the $8.27 that the city of Big Spring Fire Department has now. All right. Now, here's the trick about ESD. If you'll look at this election, they talk about ESD number 1. Why would you have to call something number 1? Why wouldn't it just be the ESD? Because they plan on an ESD number 2 for ambulance, for EMS. And the state law allows that. So we could have a 10 cents per 100 maximum tax for fire and a 10 cents per 100 maximum tax for EMS, which firemen, listen to this number now. If it all works out the way I think it should, and I will help it happen, $8.6 million times 2. Okay? That is $17.2 million for the fire department and the EMS's budget. Much, much more than the 8.2. Now, of course, that's a maximum number they could ask for. Now, why do I want to do that? I want to do that because I want to replace water lines and sewer lines. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to take this $8.27 million budget that it takes to run the fire department, and I'm going to cut $3.5 million out of that to redo streets and water. This is in a perfect world, what we could do. Will you say, well, Scott, what happens to that other $5 million? Well, firemen, listen. We have to fund the fire department over the last 40 years that they've been civil service. We have to fund those legacy retirements and benefits. And if this all works out, it's going to take about 20 to 25 years for that $5 million to work its way down to about $1 million. Okay? Why? Because people die. Retirees die. And over a 20-year period, a bunch of the people that are drawing out of that legacy money every year are going to pass away, and those benefits are going to go away. So, but that gives us $3.5 million a year to go to streets. That leaves $5 million to fund legacy retirements. All you 15, 16, 20-year, heck, I know. If I talked to one at the Blood at the Bunker yesterday that has enough years to retire, but he's not old enough. So he's got 3 years before he turns 50. Then he can retire, and he's like, man, your plan makes sense, but what about my retirement? $5 million a year to fund y'all's retirement. We can do that. Then hopefully in 10 years, it's down to $4 million. In 20 years, it's down to 2 or 3 million. 25 years, it's down to $1 million. I don't know, but I hope. That's what I hope. All right. Do we have a duplication of services elsewhere? Yes, we do. In the fire department, in the police department, and the sheriff's department. We have duplication of services. That's a whole nother video. All right. Well, here's my plan. We vote no to collective bargaining. We vote no to the ESD this time. We vote yes to repealing civil service. Man. And then we vote yes for an ESD that includes the city of Big Spring. Now, all they have to do is hire 3 or 4 men a shift to go out and drive the trucks that are in the county. And if there's a fire in the county, everybody, or not everybody, but half the fire department, the city goes to it, and all the volunteers go to it. Do we have more manpower? Yes. What happens when we repeal civil service in the city of Big Spring? Volunteers can now help inside the city of Big Spring. Where when I was a fireman, we were civil service, the AFL-CIO actually put out a bumper sticker. I've got one that says, volunteer firefighters steal jobs. That's their opinion of volunteers. We get rid of civil service, get rid of unions. Why does a first responder have a union in the state of Texas? I don't even understand that. They can't strike. Anyway, long story. So every year, unions take dues from everybody. And how do they justify that? By getting more. Who pays for more? You do. Vote no on all the Prop A's. Government entities have no money that wasn't your money first. It's your money. Vote to keep it. Why? Because there is a plan. Now, one of the guys that is back in the fire department and he can't help himself. If you have a different opinion than him, he's going to be condescending to you, even to a local preacher who doesn't agree with him. So he makes a post about, oh my, what am I going to do? How am I going to respond to this? Shannon, guys, he's not helping y'all. Every time he makes a post, he pisses somebody else off. I don't know how y'all can kick him to the curb and tell him he's not helping, but I promise you, I've talked to people. He's not helping. Okay? I really, really care about the fire department. I do. And I think it would be great for y'all to have a $17.2 million budget. Now, that other guy's saying, hey, I'm proposing a $8.6 million tax. No, I'm not. The county's already going after $7.2 million. I'm just saying let's include the city, and the city people can pay that 10 cents per hundred, which is really, for the facts of the facts, dude, is a $1.4 million tax increase is what I'm proposing. be a tax increase, man. Anyway, y'all know I love Big Spring. I have the perfect deal because I own a home in Austin and my wife is there, and I go home on the weekends and mow the yard. So I'm in Big Spring with nothing to do, and I don't like going to the movies. So I go to public meetings of taxing entities. Why? Because I hate property tax. Anybody says I doesn't love Big Spring, they don't really know. Anybody says I don't love Howard County, they don't really know. I am asking you, this is a common sense plan. This is like what Trump is doing in the federal government with Doge. Why would we want to pay for 2 fire departments in a county of less than 70,000 people? Why? Heck, I bet we're less than 50,000 people. Why do we want 2 paid fire departments in this county when 1 paid fire department, which we already have, can easily cover the county too, just by adding some men to each shift and manning those fire stations and including volunteers? So I'm asking you 4 things. Vote no to collective bargaining if you live inside the city limits of Big Spring. Vote no to the ESD and the 2 other Prop A's in the county. If you're in Coahoma or Sands School District, vote no to those tax increases. You voted no on some school bonds earlier. You can vote no on this. This is just another way of getting it. Then, next election, I want you to vote yes to repealing civil service. And then I want you to vote yes on an ESD that includes the city of Big Spring. It's my plan. Will it work? I don't know. But I know that if we have 2 paid fire departments, the chance of getting them together into one, slim and none. All right? We need to do this right the first time. We didn't do it right the first time. That's why the election got overturned. We need to do it right the second time. Vote no on this, and then the third time, include the city of Big Spring in with the ESD and pass it. And then pass another one for EMS. Now, what do the firefighters get out of that? They're out from under the city. They got a board. Who appoints the board? The county appoints the first board. Then their terms stagger, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And so after the first year, there will be an election to replace those. The next year, there will be an election to replace those. Remember, in the next year, there will be an election. And then the first year, their 3-year term will be up, and it will be an election again. We'll vote on ESD directors every year, and they decide the tax rate, whether it be a penny per 100 to 10 cents a 100. 10 cents is the most they can get. That's my plan. Somebody somewhere who probably flies a plane is going to try and shoot it all to pieces and call me names. I don't care. I do not care what, tell you the truth, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I'm going to keep doing what I do no matter what. And until people quit listening to me and watching these silly videos, will I quit doing it? So thank you. I'm quitting now to keep it short. If you have any questions, ask. I will try to answer. I have actual numbers. I have actual taxes right here. I have actual revenues. So I can give you the numbers. I can put these in the comments. Here's the budget right here. Big old book. Here, look at it from this side. Look how thick that book is. Is that crazy? That is a $30 million city budget right there. And there's the rest of that. I will try and make it as factual as I can by posting everything. I've even got some PAC literature here. Here's a long drawn out version of why the PAC against collective bargaining doesn't want it to pass. And then here's the TikTok version, okay? No, before you vote. Fire department already received 90% of our property tax. Prop A will definitely increase taxes and increase the fire department's control of our city. Vote no on Prop A. This is a local PAC. I can say anything I want. The PAC's not paying me. I'm a citizen who is trying to inform his friends of what I think needs to be done. thank y'all for listening. Please vote no on all 4 Prop A's. Vote no. All 4 Prop A's. It's your money. Keep it.